Today we'll be making our way through this relationship between preferences, wanting our circumstances to be a certain way, trust, acknowledging that what we're feeling is exactly what we need to be feeling, what we should be feeling, and we shouldn't be feeling or needing or experiencing anything else, and full presence in what it is that might be uncomfortable. And I'd like to start out with preferences, because preferences, it was a catapult forward in my understanding of the way that we engage in life once I realized that it was actually in a prayer forum to ask me to be detached, to detach myself from my preferences. I didn't know how to do it, so I asked it in the form of a prayer. Please help me to detach myself from my preferences. And what I meant by that was, anytime I was feeling something and wanted to be somewhere else or wanted to feel something else, I think my greatest healing and feeling good in my body came when I just surrendered to whatever that experience was. I allowed myself to be in that place. And that's what I mean by no preferences. I dropped my preference for wanting to be in a different place or wanting to be feeling something different. And all of a sudden, even if that emotion is quote unquote negative, it was like almost like a home feeling, like a sense of I knew I should be there feeling that thing. And I like this analogy of treating it like a child. So this is where the child self concept comes in. Here's maybe a different lens to view it from, but say that your body or your emotions are your child, and the only way this child can communicate with you is by sensations in your body. So when you've previously interpreted the situation as I feel lousy, instead treat it like my child self or my child feels lousy, so what should I do, right? And there's maybe parents or fathers or mothers out there who might be watching this. And even if you're not, you can picture, we've all been a child, we've all had parents. But to care for a child who, especially if they're very young, they can't provide for themselves, they rely upon you to survive. How do you meet that need? And all of a sudden we've reversed or altered the perspective that we're meeting our own body and its own sensations. And so often, this is why abandonment is so big, we ignore those things. We numb them, we silence them. And that has some unfortunate ramifications, especially in the long term. First of all, we begin to not even recognize them as needs, as self-needs. That's maybe the biggest one, because we move away from meeting the needs of ourself. And that's why relationships and connection to others is so important, because it's funny how we'll meet other people's needs or we'll want to help. But when it comes to ourselves, since we're the ones in control, no one can do it for us. And there's no immediate ramifications. There's nobody to punish, for example. And then we tend to get away with it. And get away with what? Get away with abandoning ourselves, abandoning our child. Thinking of that movie, There Will Be Blood. I've abandoned my child. I've abandoned my child. If you watch that movie, if you go back and watch it again, I bet you'll pick up something different when he says that line at the end. Spoiler alert, you can still watch the movie and it's still a great movie, but that scene has taken on different meaning for me as I come to different levels of awareness. But anyway, so preference. Let's get into trust. So trust is the concept of, this is that, the belief that underneath everything is love, that the universe is made from love, and a loving universe is going to always, we inside the loving universe are creating our own circumstances. So there's a level of ownership that we take from whatever situation that we're in. So to cultivate this level of trust is that even if I'm feeling shitty, even if I'm feeling lousy, there is a value in me experiencing that. Because to believe otherwise is to distrust that I should be in the situation, I should be experiencing this. For so long, I felt something went wrong. I shouldn't be here, I shouldn't be feeling this. Something is wrong with me. I made a wrong decision. How could I have prevented this? What could I have done? All of those are trauma responses. I promise you. They're good investigatory questions because we're always curious about why we feel the way that we do and what could we do because it's not maybe a desirable state to be in to achieve a different state. But it's a fine line to walk because it is normal, it is healthy to desire to be in a higher vibrational state, feeling good or better in our bodies. But the trade-off with that is you have to know when you're abandoning yourself and your negative emotions, because the way to get to that other state is through the state that you don't want to feel. And that level of trust, once you trust it and you practice it, and it's a rewiring, right? Because the old way of thinking is, I don't feel good, I don't want to be in here, something has gone wrong. And the new belief is something, what did I say? Oh no, I don't want to be here, something has gone wrong. I wonder what the value is for me. I'm going to hold presence that this is a good place for me to be, and I'm not going to run from it. That's a bit convoluted and long, but old, I'm here, something's wrong. New, I'm here, everything is right, no matter how I feel. And once you get into the rhythm of that, then you can meet these challenges in a way that feels better in the body, even if it's fear, sadness, disappointment. It is the very fact of being aware of how I feel and making it okay that feels better. So now we have preferences, we have trust. The last pillar is, and I was blanking on this in the intro and I'm blanking on it now. What is the last pillar? What did I say was the last pillar? Yeah, presence in the now. That's ultimately what we're after, because if we're not in the now, where are we? We're in the past or in the future. So when you have the trust and when you've dropped your preferences, you're experiencing life. And now it's like an analogy of the car. If your foot isn't on the brake or the gas, it's still moving forward. And then you learn that you have the power to brake or go faster, and you wield these powers when you feel moved to do so, and that's where the trust comes in. I know that I have to brake, I have to pause, I need some time for myself, I need to remove myself from the situation, or I'm motivated, let's do. I feel in my body I should be expressing myself, I should be creating, I should be doing something. Go do. Put your foot down the accelerator. But it is how well we maneuver with these paddles, this brake and this accelerator, but also knowing that we can coast. And even after being on the accelerator for a while, we can take our foot off and the car still goes. This is not as much the case with the electric cars nowadays. I believe it brakes a little bit more quickly if you take your foot off the accelerator. It's a different conversation. And ultimately what this is about is feeling better in the body. It's a cycle. We don't feel good in our body. We abandon how we might meet the needs of addressing that. And we lose awareness of our body because we disassociate, because we don't want to feel it. And we don't feel it, so then we can't do something about it, get embodied. So it's all about the presence. It's just that if we were to be present all the time now, there's honestly a lot of pain, emotional and physical and mental, in the body, embedded in the body. So there's balance in all things. You're exactly as present as you should be. But if you'd like to practice being more present, you really are practicing feeling better in your body. And to practice feeling better in your body, you have to go through the places that don't feel so good. But it's really, really rewarding. It's really, really rewarding to meet the child's needs. To have the child, aka your body, come to you, share something with you about what it needs, and then you listen and meet its needs in either the way that it is requesting or the way that you're intuiting, that would soothe, alleviate, address the core source of what's causing that need to come up. Drop the intentions. Notice when your intentions are to manipulate, to control, that you go to change something about your environment. You go to remove yourself from the environment, versus letting it be shitty. Have an argument with a partner, disagree, bring up a confrontation that's bothering you, something to address. Stop being afraid to speak your mind and speak your needs to someone else, and engage. Live through the uncomfortability of conflict. Learn how to meet conflict in ways that get at the root cause and the core, because that's closer to the love that we desire to feel.